What is your opinion on the Funko Pop craze? Do you think the bubble on them has finally burst?
I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I have a handful of pops, and the ones that I have, I like. The ones that I have mostly don't look a lot like pops. For instance, the Alien Xenomorph pop doesn't even have like the stereotypical pop eyes.
Oh, it doesn't?
On it? No, it's just like a weird super deformed xenomorph. It looks pretty cool. I have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pops, the 4 turtles, Splinter and Shredder. Vonnie likes to collect the ones that are robots.
RoboCop maybe, or
I don't think she has RoboCop, but like Wally, Eve, and a couple from
they have
Yo
every
Gabba Gabba.
fucking license under the sun somehow.
They do.
It's amazing.
Because they make money.
What happened to Mighty Mugs drop the ball?
Yeah, we have a couple of them, but these are earlier lines, and as time went on, I just get the design is so vanilla and so bland, and I don't get the I don't get the collectability or the fascination with them, other than, like Pat said, every license under the sun has them.
Every movie, TV show.
If you want a little piece of shelf candy or something for your desk that's based on one of your favorite licenses or your favorite characters, 90% chance you can find a pop of it, or there will be a pop of it. But they've gotten so uniform and boring looking. It's like they take, I swear there's a Pop app that only the people who work at Pop have, where they snap a picture of something and they run it through this cartoony boop 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 boop, and it spits out a pop on the other end. Because it's just, they all have the same shape, the same form. And while I am certainly not a toy collector, I have toy collector friends who look at them as just disposable, and they are. I mean, in years, these things are going to be worth nothing, and they're going to be filling up landfills.
You hate comparing something to Beanie Babies, but come on. The only difference between this and Beanie Babies is that this is based upon like licenses that people know about. Otherwise, it's the same thing.
It is.
It really is.
And in the pop line, at Comic-Con is insane.
Yeah,
it's just nuts.
There was, you see that one vendor with the wall of them, like literally
every year for the past like 5 years,
10-foot wall.
So just to answer the last part of the question, I don't think the bubble has burst. The shops that my wife runs or my wife manages still sell them by the truckload.
Oh,
I mean, every store they have has what they call a mountain of pops in the center that they have to that each one has set up. They have the huge mountain of pops at Comic-Con. There's lines that you have to line up for at 4 a.m. to get them. Yeah. The trolleys for the San Diego trolleys for Comic-Con this year were completely decked out for Conan O'Brien, but they were all covered in the exclusive Conan O'Brien pops that you got for going to the panels this year. The pop craze, it's gonna die at some point. Yes, that bubble's gonna burst, but I think it's got it. My one toy collector friend and I were discussing it. We think it's probably got another 3 years.
Well, when did it blow up? The past like 2 years?
Probably the past 2 years. Yeah, probably the past 2-3 years. They've been around for longer than that.
They have been. Mighty Mugs was how long Mighty Mugs been around for? Mighty Mugs is like limited though. That's only a few different lines. Correct?
Yeah,
that's not like everything.
No, Mighty Mugs was a lot smaller, and it started off as mostly superheroes and
Star Wars, Marvel, Indiana Jones, G.I. Joe, Transformers. That was Mighty Mugs for the most part. So they kept it more limited, and that was what Hasbro. It was like I didn't know it was by Hasbro. Okay, let's see, when did that come out? But now they have like shows coming up for these.
Oh, really?
Pop shows. I think a year and a half ago is when I started to see them being sold to swap meet. I having like a dealer having just like a majority of them, or at least 2. Sometimes you see 2 of them. This is the thing about bubbles. This is how you define. When more people get into it as speculation versus enjoying it, you officially have a bubble. And then you have to answer. I'm not an expert at this. If people out there collect these, are there more speculators in it right now than people that are into it to enjoy it? And once you get that tipping point, that's when it's going to fail. Because that's what happened with baseball cards in the 90s. That's what happened with comics in the 90s. That's what happened with Beanie Babies. When you have more people getting into it, just thinking, I'm going to get rich off it. When you have everyone thinking you're going to get rich off of something, and you have no one going to buy it after the prices get pumped up artificially, you have basically like a pyramid scheme, you're going to find the final idiot then who has a worthless thing they spent $1,000 on a Beanie Baby, and then everyone says, why is that worth anything? Because there's all those other Beanie Babies out there. There's a million of them. And where's the end game with this? They're just made to make money. And if you think that's where it's headed with these pop figures, then it'll be the same result.
Yeah, and they have shown signs of overstepping their boundaries. They did release a line of toys, 2 lines. One is called Dorbs, which
oh, that's right, the little
which
ones?
are round-headed, completely round-headed, and really all that's different is they're completely round-headed, and they have these little cutesy like arc eyes. And according to Vani, they've gone over like lead balloons.
No one likes them?
And they have they call them Japanese style soft vinyl toys. They're called Hikari Sofubi, and they're like soft vinyl, and they don't seem to be doing particularly well either. They did like Ninja Turtles and Batman.
So it's almost too much. Like we have enough trouble keeping up with the main line. Now you're doing these.
Right. So I think that could get them in trouble.
Oh yeah, there was a Dorbs in a Loot Crate a couple months ago. At first I was like, what is that? Oh, it's just a pop figure.
It's another Funko thing.
It's just deformed a little bit more. I had not a revelation. I was with Andre, though. Black Nerd Comedy was part of our panel. Walking around, I think it was Saturday. Walking past all this merchandise. I forget what the specific one was. I think it was like a Star Wars like light cover or something like that. And I just said, all this shit's going to be in a landfill in 20 years. I said that to Andre. I said, people are spending money on all this shit, and most of this is going to be thrown out.
Yep.
And I'm not anti-consumerism at all, but it just hit me that was sort of like my, not epiphany, because I kind of, I realized some of this stuff, but it was sort of like in front of my eyes, like, this is all fucking garbage. This is all plastic shit we are buying that leads to nowhere. At least these, you can play these.
Yeah.
No one's playing with the fucking pop figure. They're just putting it on their shelf and looking at it.
Well, I mean, Vani and I are wrestling with that now. We're looking around at our apartment, and it's like, we're trashing this, we're getting rid of this, and it's not like it's a ton, but we don't live in the biggest of spaces, and it's like, okay. And I can't tell you how many things I looked at Comic-Con this year, and I'm like, that's cool.
It would be cool. Do I need it?
But no.
Yeah, I'm finally getting to that point. You'll be happy to hear that. I'm finally like, would be cool. Don't need it.
Yeah.
More with toys though with the games though.
No, like books. The thing is I look at a book and I'm like, I can read that, lend it out, reread it, and I'm like, okay, but statuettes, toys, things like that.
Statues, that's the thing. I see these awesome statues being sold for $400. Beautiful. Ghostbuster figures that are that big. Gizmo with the fire arrow. If you saw that one at Comic-Con, look gorgeous.
Then again, I'm the guy who just dropped $300 on the Voltron Soul of Chocokin. But
you did do
Chocokin, but yeah.
So I mean, there's always going to be exceptions, but do you need 100 pop figures lining your fucking wall?
No, because they all look the fucking same.
So there will be a bubble. It will burst. Just a matter of when.
Yep.
It's going to do, because now you have like websites tracking your collection. I'm looking on eBay. One sold for $500. The Funko Pop Street Fighter Ryu Gold Chase Mint Rare. Some are retired. Have the tag. You know what was also retired? Beanie Babies were retired.
Yeah.
They use that term to say, oh, you can't get it anymore, so pay more money for it. It's just kind of remember, and they can always make more of these. Whenever you can always make more of something, that collectible market means shit.
I really wanted a Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph Pop. It was one of the few that I actually really wanted. It was retired. It was going for over $100. They reissued it. Vonnie got it for me for $15.
And then what happened to the market on the originals? Did it drop?
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm imagining
it did. I didn't bother looking, but I'm sure it did.
But
they literally reproduced it.
Yeah.
After people were buying and selling them for over $100 or $80 to $100.
And you don't think it could happen for a rare $500 one or $300 or $200?
Sure. It absolutely can. All right, let's move on.